Hey, what's up guys, you're watching Tech AM here. So a few days ago was Apple's event where they announced 3 new devices, the new iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, and indeed a smartwatch, which is actually called the Apple Watch, not the iWatch for some reason. But anyway, I watched the event live on my iPhone 5, and if you for any reason managed to miss it, then I'll have it linked down below the like button if you want to check it out, and there will also be an annotation for you to click on right over here. So when I was watching the event, sometimes Safari just decided to crash, sometimes this message came up, sometimes it said could not load, and just stuff like that. But then eventually it managed to play, so that was good. But anyway, I'm quite impressed with the new iPhones, and while they were being announced, at some points I was just like, whoa, that's so cool. And then there were points like, you joking, bro? I mean, the Apple Watch was great. I mean, it was just amazing, and I might even get it when it comes out. So keep watching the rest of this video to see my first impressions on the new iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. So starting off with the RAM. So this is one of the very big reasons why Apple is lagging in terms of phone specs. So both these new iPhones are packed with only 1 gig of RAM. I mean, come on Apple, why didn't they go with 2 gigs of RAM? I mean, they upgraded the CPU, then why not upgrade the RAM? So that was a bit disappointing, for me at least. But we can't be 100% sure on how these phones would perform against exactly the same phone but with 2 gigs of RAM. So we'll have to wait and see until the phones start shipping on the 19th of September. And talking about the CPU, the new A8 chip is still dual core and is clocked at only 1.4 GHz. Like when? When is Apple gonna start making quad-core CPUs like normal companies? Okay, you might be thinking that Apple said that the new A8 chip is 50% more efficient, 25% faster, with 2 billion transistors, 13% smaller, has faster graphics. But if they just put in 2 more cores, then the phone would be even faster, would have even better graphics. But then you can say that the iPhone 5S's A7 chip was also dual-core, and it gave a multi-core Geekbench score of 2,344. And put that next to the Galaxy S5's Geekbench score of 2,738. It's not far off, considering the Galaxy S5 had a quad-core CPU clocked at 2.5 GHz. So we will only be able to tell exactly how fast this new A8 chip is when it hits the stores and the benchmark is run on it. And along with the CPU, the M8 motion coprocessor is also improved. It can now track your steps, it can track your distance, and even elevation changes. The reason it can't measure your elevation changes is because there's a barometer built inside the iPhone 6s to detect the air pressure to determine your relative elevation. So you can now keep track of how many stairs you've climbed, how high above the ground level you are, and that's pretty impressive in my opinion, because as far as I know, very few phones are capable of doing that sort of stuff. Alright, now let's move on to the camera. So the camera has remained at 8 megapixels, which isn't bad because picture quality isn't just to do with the number of megapixels there are, it's also to do with the quality of each megapixel. So for the good things, you can talk about the improved slow-mo feature. You can shoot 1080p videos at up to 60 frames per second. There's optical image stabilization, only in the iPhone 6 Plus though. And the shutter speed is faster, with the same aperture of f2.2, and there is something new called focus pixels. And what these are is quite self-explanatory. They provide the image signal processor with information about your photo, allowing better autofocus like a DSLR. So I'm really looking forward to test that out. And for the video, as the frame rate has increased from 30 FPS to 60 FPS for 1080p videos, you'll be able to shoot much smoother videos. And for the slow-mo feature, you can not just record up to 120 FPS, there's also a 240 FPS option, so you can capture fast moments twice as slow, which is incredible. So I'm looking forward to check that out as well. But we still don't see 4K video recording, so that's quite a shame. But overall, I'm very impressed with the new cameras on these new phones, except from the fact that it's protruding out of the phone, just like we had expected. I mean, I would rather have a thicker phone to keep the camera flat inside the phone, rather than having it bulge out of it. So since I've now mentioned the thickness, the iPhone 6 comes in at 6.9mm thick, while the 6 Plus on the other hand is 7.1mm thick. Again, just as we expected. And the iPhone 6 Plus is actually Apple's first ever device to come with OIS, so the lens can now physically move using some sensors to compensate for the movement of your hand. So this should reduce the number of blurry images you get with the iPhones and just overall give you better quality pictures. Now at the event, Apple also introduced a new thing called Apple Pay, which lets you pay for things at a shop just by swiping your phone over the contactless reader with your finger on top of Touch ID, and yeah, that's all you literally have to do. This is one of Apple's biggest improvements, and you might have already guessed how this works. So the new iPhone 6s come with an NFC antenna built on the top of the phones, and you'll be able to use Apple Pay in a wide range of big name retailers, starting from October, as Apple says. Now, Apple calls this innovation, just like they do to all the other features, but it's really innovation because you can pay with other smartphones which have NFC as well. I don't know, what do you guys think about this innovation? Let me know in the comment section below. But another cool feature, also to do with money, is the ability of the phone to store all your credit card information into Passbook just by using the all-new iSight camera. And all you have to do is take a picture of your credit or debit card, and there, it gets stored into your Passbook. And this is actually a really awesome feature, so you don't have to keep on filling out your credit card information when you want to buy something with Apple Pay. So basically it's meant to be a wallet without the wallet, if that makes sense. Now for the display. So I actually found out that the iPhone 6 pixel density is actually lower than the pixel density of the iPhone 5S. So the way I found this out was going onto this pixel density calculator on the internet and then entering the pixel resolution of the iPhone 6, which is 1334 by 750, and then writing the screen size of the iPhone 6, which is 4.7 inches, and the result I got was 325.61 ppi. And if you fit out the details for the iPhone 5S, then you get 325.97 ppi. I know that it's only a very, very small difference, but if I'm right, it doesn't stop 325.61 being a smaller number than 325.97. But the iPhone 6 Plus, on the other hand, has a 1080p resolution on a 5.5-inch screen, giving it a pixel density of 401 ppi, or Retina HD, which Apple calls it, which is okay considering there are phones with less than 400 ppi like the Galaxy S5 Mini, Nokia Lumia 1525. So relatively it's okay, it's good, but I think it could have been better, just saying. And finally, the battery life on these two new iPhones is apparently meant to be longer than the iPhone 5S's battery, and the iPhone 6 on standby can apparently last up to 10 days, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus on standby can apparently last up to 16 days, which is incredible. But at the moment, we don't know how many milliamps the battery are. But 16 days is pretty good when compared to the 10 days on the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 6. Now, both these phones will be available in 3 different models. A 16GB model, surprisingly no 32GB model, but instead, there's a 64GB model, and for once, a 128GB model, which is a lot of memory and will cost you £699 for the iPhone 6 and £789 for the 6 Plus. Now the 64GB model is basically the same price if it were a 32GB model, so you would be basically getting 32GB extra for the same price, so that's pretty cheap. So overall, I think both these phones are really awesome. They both have a fantastic camera, both come with the all-new Apple Pay, both have a nice battery life, screen resolution, especially the iPhone 6 Plus. Can't really say much about the A8 processor until we see people getting their hands on it and run some benchmarks on it. But then there are also some disappointments like less RAM, no 4K video recording. The iPhone 6 is still not even 1080p. Still not much customization. But I guess Apple has took the first step to catch up with other companies. But who knows, maybe in the future Samsung phones could start having some sort of 3-dimensional displays, while Tim Cook could still be thinking, I think it's time we upgrade to a Quad HD display. It's been 5 years. Who knows? And no offense to Tim Cook, by the way. So anyway, guys, that's been it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video where I talked about my first impressions on the iPhone 6s. Be sure to hit the like button if you did, and feel free to comment what you think about the new iPhone 6s. Are you planning to pick one up? Because if I was going to get one, then I will certainly go for the iPhone 6, because I would not be willing to pay an extra £80 just for OIS, a better battery life, 1080p, and a screen which is 0.8 inches bigger, because that's just a rip-off in my opinion. And anyway, be sure to subscribe for more tech videos like this, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.